Hello and welcome to weather. Well, more rough seas are likely from a Saturday afternoon. We have a new hazardous seas alert from the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service, which comes into effect Saturday 2 p.m. until Sunday 2 a.m. So a yellow level alert means that you should be monitoring those sea conditions as you go through the weekend. And authorities advise fishfolk and sea bathers to be cautious from Saturday going all the way into Sunday. Now, tonight we're watching another Atlantic swell entering the region. You can just see lighter colours of green here. That's the other swell, which is set to pass east of the Lesser Antilles through the weekend. North to northwest swells of about 12 seconds apart will affect mainly the northern and northeastern coastlines of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, battering waves near shore are expected from Saturday afternoon, and this will disrupt fishing, sea bathing and small craft mooring. High tides will likely bring higher waves, and the waves will be higher than 3 meters, especially during the high tide at 11:30 on Saturday night. Now, today's satellite imagery still shows some fair and hazy conditions over the southern Windward Islands. We've been seeing most of that haze clearing up over the last few days. And the Atlantic high-pressure ridge, which extends into the Windward Islands, is maintaining stable and breezy conditions across Trinidad and Tobago. Those moderate to mid to upper level winds, however, are still causing breezy conditions as we go through the weekend. Meanwhile, we have high pressure in the Western Atlantic and lower pressure down towards Colombia. And this has been tightening the pressure gradient, which basically means that we will be seeing that winds, particularly breezy out towards the central part of the Caribbean Sea, not so much for the Eastern Caribbean, but still one or two fresh to strong bouts are still likely across the Caribbean Sea, which may whip up the waves as well. Now, today's satellite imagery shows Trinidad and Tobago remaining fair and hazy, despite a few brief blustery showers. You can just pick up one or two of those on the satellite imagery there. But that has improved visibility today at Piarco and at Crown Point. Right now, we're looking at 16 kilometers nationwide. However, the Environmental Management Authority did note that air quality was unhealthy for sensitive persons due to that lingering Saharan dust haze. And looking at the Saharan layer, you can just see it here, the mild colouring of yellows. Those are the mild to moderate concentrations expected through Saturday and Sunday. Obviously, we keep most of the thick Saharan dust well away from us along the coast of Africa. Now, checking today's maximum temperatures, it was at 32 degrees Celsius nationwide. Right now, it's 28 degrees Celsius at Piarco, as well as 29 in Scarborough. And tonight, there's very little change expected, mostly fair and hazy. A warm night, 25 degrees Celsius expected at Crown Point, and indeed for much of Tobago. And in Trinidad, 23 degrees Celsius is likely, although it may dip a bit lower in some of those sheltered valleys. Now, Saturday starts generally sunny, hazy and breezy, despite a spell of showers or two across the hillside. So over the main ridge, you may see one or two damp spots from time to time. Similarly for Trinidad, but temperature-wise nationwide, we're expecting 32 degrees Celsius, which will likely feel more like 36 once you factor in that humidity. Now, looking elsewhere and down the road, the warm, dry season continues with the maximum temperatures of 32 to 33 degrees Celsius expected through Saturday and Sunday across Trinidad and Tobago, but that will more feel like 36 or 38 once you factor in the humidity. Meanwhile, nighttime lows are expected between 23 and 24 degrees Celsius, but by Monday, we could be seeing lows in Trinidad as low as 22 degrees Celsius, particularly in those rural areas and valleys. Now, in terms of other waves, we have been seeing somewhat moderate seas for the most part, but unfortunately, that hazardous seas alert, which comes into effect on Saturday afternoon, will likely bring those waves of 1.5 to 2 meters higher than that as we go through late Saturday and into Sunday. We're still looking with those easterly winds coming in for the most part. That may also become fresh to strong at times. That may also bring some white capping activity as we go through Saturday and Sunday. Meanwhile, the high tides are expected at 9:59 a.m. and 11:35 p.m. We have only one high tide at Scarborough at 9:42 a.m. And because of those high tides, we could also see those battering waves being worsened by the higher tide flows as we go through late Saturday and into Sunday. So be mindful about that. So if you're heading to the beaches, take care. If you're sensitive to dust, we don't have that much dust around, but still take the necessary precautions. So that's your weather, and that's it from me.